So I really wanted to try to do this little series thing, and I really want to call it like anime manga book club. I don't know. Really, I just thought about like doing like book club kind of thing where I talk to you, the viewer, as if we are reading this book and coming together to just discuss it. And I really wanted to do that with manga because I haven't really read a lot of manga in a cool minute, and I think it's time for me to start reading it again. I really enjoyed it years ago, and I think it's a good time to start. I like to read manga on like this app called Manga Reader. It's free. I can read free manga a lot of the times, and it's I've always used this app, or I've used mangareader.net. It's always just kind of been a thing. But with this series, I was hoping to maybe like bring friends in or just have a discussion on it. So like whatever I'm doing, there's going to be spoilers. This isn't like, oh, this is kind of like a review, but I'm not going to put spoilers. No, I'm wanting to get maybe eventually somewhat in depth into it. But yeah, I wanted to get like somewhat more in depth into the manga and just kind of talk about it and just kind of discuss it as if I was talking to friends about it. So the first manga I want to do is called Beastars, or is it Beastar? Beastar? I don't know. I've been calling it Beastars. I actually heard about this manga from a YouTuber called The Anime Man. Link to his stuff below. And he made it sound really interesting, so I went ahead and decided to read it, and I thought this would be like a first one for the series to kind of go through. I'm only going to go through the first volume of what I think about it, and I have a few particular things in mind of what I want to talk about it. You can buy the manga online on Amazon if you want an actual physical copy, if you end up like liking what I have to say about it. And yeah, I guess I'll get into it. The basics of it is it's like Zootopia / George Orwell's Animal Farm, but more anime in like a Japanese school setting. So that's kind of like the premise of it. And I guess we'll talk about like the chapters by chapter. And like in chapter 1, which I had to write notes, was so weird. Is like after finishing a chapter and doing the notes. So the first volume has chapters 1 through 7. So I'm basically just gonna go over those. And so like the first chapter, my thoughts were like, everyone's a furry, and that's basically how it is. It's just it starts out being like Zootopia or George Orwell's Animal Farm, where it's basically set in a Japanese school setting. You have a separation between herbivores and carnivores. They don't talk about those omnivores, though. I will say so myself. But there is like a separation between the two. In the beginning, it starts out with a character named Tem. He's an alpaca actually dying gruesomely from a carnivore eating him alive. And it gets a little gruesome, but it starts out the story pretty strong. And so like you end up learning that the main character, Legolassi? I don't know how to say his name. I'm just calling him Leg because it's like spelled Legosi, and I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm just gonna call him Leg. So Leg, everyone finds out that Tem dies, and Leg actually is really upset about this because that's his best friend, and he is partly accused because he's a gray wolf and he's a carnivore, so he's actually accused of the murder of Tim. And it's like, oh no, no, and but you end up finding out that he's actually a good guy. He's scary, but he's actually a softie. He doesn't like to fight. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. He's like really saddened by that. And there's actually a point where there's like a love letter situation, and another character, which I forgot her name, was actually Tem's crush, and she was like a goat, and he could never, profess his love to her, and Leg knew about this, and so he thought, Tem regret this. So he went ahead and gave the love letter to, Tem's crush. And at first she thought, oh, you're trying to kill me. Oh, you're the one that murdered Tem. And then in the end he's like, no, 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 I just want to give you this. He's just really bad at communicating. But he wanted to do it alone because he thought it would be awkward, and he didn't want people thinking that of Tem. He wanted to keep that in between. So basically everyone thinks main character scary, but really he's a softie. First chapter right there. And murder. So second chapter 2, you find out that there's really a play. And the play itself is really sad. It's about the character that represents death and a character that has died. Technically she's a spirit, or supposed to be dead, and then so she doesn't die, and then there's a bunch of spirits trying to take her, and he's like, no, this is my job. But whatever, it's actually pretty sad. It's explained. So there's actually a point, because there's a leader, his name is Lewis, and he is a deer. He's a red deer, I think. And of course he's third year. He's very important. He's kind of an asshole. He really gets those asshole vibes. And he's just pretty, there's a point where Leg's in there, and there's this one guy who's been demoted because Tem was actually supposed to be the main character. But first chapter, Tem died. So he can't be the main character anymore. Well, there was another character who was the only other person to audition for that part of the play. And he doesn't get it. It's given to some random guy. And the mongoose guy named Kai, who was the other guy who auditioned for it, was pretty freaking mad, to say the least. He was like, I deserve this. And he actually gets demoted by Lewis, the leader of the drama club. And he's, of course, not happy about it. And he goes to, fight. But, of course, the Leg's there. And he, blocks it. And he, low-key shows his fangs to be like, you need to back off. But doesn't actually want to fight. So it's kind of one of those things. And then also in this chapter you learn more about Jack the dog, and he's a golden retriever dog or whatever, and he's roommates with Leg, and he actually understands Leg a bit deeper than other people. People think that Leg is just a big scary wolf. In reality, he understands Leg doesn't want to hurt any living creature. He lives by the fact of, if it doesn't try to hurt me, then why should I even try to hurt it? He's not really scared of bugs or people. He's kind of scared of people, but that's different. And so Kai gets demoted, and Lewis is an asshole. He's an asshole. He becomes more of an asshole in chapter 3. So chapter 3, we learn more about how Lewis is an asshole. He thinks of himself as the best, and he treats others kind of shitty. And he actually says something, which I guess is racist or specious, I don't know how you want to look at it, to a different goat character that ended up taking Tem's part that he had given him because he had not memorized the lines yet. He accused him of not only eating the papers, the script, but he also called him lazy because goats are lazy. And I'm like, is that kind of racist? Are we supposed to hate this character yet? I don't know. But he likes to tease. In this chapter, he kind of teases Leg about being a goody two-shoes. And he wants to sneak. And so one thing to help the goat guy, which I forgot his name, the goat guy, remember his lines. He wants to have a secret rehearsal, and he asks for Leg's help. Leg, of course, doesn't want to really do it because, he could get in trouble, but he ends up doing it anyway. And there's a part where he, Leg smells something, they're doing the rehearsal and stuff, and Leg smells something. And his feral instincts come in, and we find out there's a bunny girl, and he catches this bunny girl, and she's so cute and tiny. And that's basically the end of that chapter. Low-key already love the bunny girl because I already knew a little bit about her. I already knew about it because of the anime man, but I definitely was like, oh, she's cute. So in chapter 4, you learn who the rabbit is. Her name is Haru. She's a dwarf rabbit, and she is being bullied. And not even her friends will, hang around her, because there's this bitch, Muzasichi or whatever you want to call her. She's like a Harley Quinn rabbit, and she thinks she is so much better because she's an endangered species and she's of higher level than like Haru, because Haru's a dwarf rabbit. I'm like, racism or speciesism, I guess. I don't freaking know. Again, that's like fucking Zootopia, I guess. But like, apparently the Harley Quinn rabbit bitch, Musasichi, her boyfriend kissed Haru, and of course she's mad about it, and of course her boyfriend and Mizasichi, of course, like, they broke up. And then, of course, she blames Haru, even though so far we learned it's not really Haru's fault, it's the boyfriend's fault. But yeah, but like, because of all this teasing and bullying, and like there's points where she's getting things thrown at her, and no one wants to spend time with her or hang out with her because of these rumors that she messes around with some of the male students, that she actually, like, low-key is suicidal, which doesn't surprise me that they put it in to this manga, because suicide is very common in Japan. They have a very high suicide rate, and so like it's such high stress there that can cause, little things can cause you to slip over the edge. So yeah, and because like she kind of low-key wants to die, because in the point where she's like, oh, I want, when leg, but she doesn't know it's leg, she just knows there's a predator, she knows there's a carnivore, and looks like it's about to kill her, kind of thing. She realizes this, and she's kind of like low-key like, this is fine, just make sure you swallow me whole so no one knows. Fucking shit. But she's just like, make sure you swallow me whole so no one realizes it's me and no one finds a trace of me, kind of thing. So like, bullying sucks, moral of that chapter. And then chapter 5, even though like Leg's instincts are really setting in, he is trying to fight them. He's like, nope, no bites, nope. But he has like this shadowy figure come up, like, and it's supposed to be like his metaphorical instincts of wanting to be carnivorous, because of course it's in their nature, and because she smells so good, he wants to eat her. But he actually, to keep, I believe, like, he hurt himself. He was digging his claws into himself to feel pain, to try to break him out of it, but also so that way he wouldn't hurt Haru. And because of that, Haru has a chance to escape and runs away. And there's a point where the goat boy comes out after Haru runs away and grabs Leg and was like, come on, something happened. And we find out that Lewis actually fell and hurt himself because the goat boy almost hurt himself because it's dark, because they're after hours, they're not supposed to be there, so he actually almost falls, and then Lewis saves him and then actually falls himself and hurts his ankle. And he's trying to play it off as no big deal, going like, I didn't do it for you, I did it for the play, da-da-da. And then you start learning that Lewis isn't as much of an asshole as he appears to be sometimes. So, end of that chapter. And then chapter 6, Leg is still really upset about what happened in the chapter before, like almost eating someone. And he's just like, I'm a terrible person, I shouldn't be alive, I should be locked in a cage, all this kind of stuff. And we also learn in this chapter what a Beastar is. It's basically like a very important person. They have to be very heroic, and when they graduate, when they're picked, they actually become someone important out in the real world. Sometimes politicians, sometimes they're just very special figures. And so we learn what that is, and we learn that Lewis is trying to be that. He's trying to be picked as that. So, because there's actually like a fight that breaks out in the cafeteria, and it's like two carnivores, like one, like I think one's a fox, I think both of them might be foxes. But like, it's like someone stepped on someone kind of thing, and then they went out and they're biting each other and choking them out and doing all this stuff. And of course all this violence is bringing back memories to Leg and how he almost ate Haru, and he gets upset and he yells to stop it. And so the two fox guys, small guys, are like, well, we want to fight. And he's like, no. But he like actually could take them on, since he's like twice their size, he has longer claws, he has better biting strength, he can literally wipe the floor with them. But he's like, no, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. And that's when Lewis comes in. He's like, oh, we're not fighting here. And it breaks up and all this stuff. And it's like you kind of start learning that Lewis is not as much an asshole, but it's like, I still don't like you. I still think of you as a piece of shit, but less of a piece of shit. And like, that's basically all that kind of happened, because Lewis was doing that as a thank you to Leg for being a lookout from the chapter before. And then, so final chapter of this volume, chapter 7, we learned that Lewis, I think he's just kind of taking the place as the main role instead of that, but you still learn he's hurt, and that his ankle's actually hurt really bad, but he's trying to hide it so that way he doesn't seem weak and he can do it. Leg is also still, of course, looming over the death of his friend and, you know, all these other things, and there's actually a point where they're messing with costumes and he finds Tem's costume and he's like, what do we do with this? A bunch of emotions come over him. And of course, some people, the carnivores, are like, well, we just want to move on from this because everyone giving us stink eye about it. So just toss it. Who cares? And of course, he's like, but shit happened. He was my friend. But like, Leg actually starts admiring Lewis for his bravery and stuff and some of the things that he's done, and of course goes more into like Beastars. And then the chapter really ends with, because they decide that they want to go and do a flower arrangement for the play, and so part of that was they had to, because they wanted like an arch thing and they needed to go get flowers, so they went up to the garden club, which is on the rooftop, which I didn't know was there because convenient, it's there. And someone says, well, it's boring, that's why. And then they open the door and guess who you find it's Haru, and Leg's like, oh shit, and ends the volume there. And it's like, what happens next? It's in general, it's all been pretty good. I think I liked it. I like the parts where like you really get into the fact that Leg is mourning, and I think that he's like the only one of the carnivores that wants to mourn. But at the same time, like they're in the first chapter where he's like, the goat girl is trying to apologize to him, and she's like, I want to tell people what really happened because I was saying some negative things about you. He goes, you don't have to do that. I'd rather you not say what happened because of Tim. And he's like, but she's like, it feels wrong. You know, people got scared of you for nothing. And he goes, I'm used to it. And it's kind of sad because there's people like that in the world who seem like they're actually gentle souls, but people make rumors about them, and they make, you know, when then someone learns something about them, they're just like, whatever. It's not a big deal. So like, I guess my favorite character so far is like Leg, but I'm starting to like Haru because I can relate to Haru about being bullied about stupid things in life, and like it makes me, I guess, part of it, like the bullying, like I relate to it, and it makes me mad that people are bullying her for like, oh, my boyfriend's unloyal and it's your fault. It's like, bitch, no, you can't get mad. You can't physically abuse your boyfriend, but you can physically abuse someone smaller than you, and that's why you're doing it. So you're a crack person, stupid Harley Quinn hair bitch. I don't like her. But yeah, so I guess Zootopia with murder. I like it. Overall, I really liked many. I like this because it gives me back, because I, as much as I say it's like Zootopia, I generally do like Zootopia, and I do like George Orwell's Animal Farm because it's really bringing more serious topics into a more digestible type of form in manga, because I know there's like sometimes things can seem too political, but this is just kind of like, it's a basic thing and it gets more in depth into it, and there's like different problems in each chapter. So yeah, I think I'll start to love Haru more as I get to know the character. Because of the anime, man, I know that there's a point where she's like seducing someone, and I'm like, when is that point? So I'm gonna probably continue reading this further, at least for a few more volumes, and really see where I come from on it. The art style is kind of weird. It's kind of sketchy, but also it works. It's like messy, but in a good way. It's very thought out how it's done, and it's weird because you have these animal heads, kind of animal-ish bodies, but then you have human hands, and like human feet, with the exception of like the carnivores having claws. But that's it's kind of weird. That part's kind of weird, but I'm kind of used to it. I've seen enough furry art. Whatever. Does this make me a furry for liking this? I think that was the Anime Man's video. Am I a furry for liking this? Because I would say no. It's when you start drawing them is when you're a furry. That's when you become a furry. But anyway, there's nothing wrong with furries, by the way. They're perfectly fine as long as everything. No one's hurting anyone. Do you. Be you. But anyway, I liked it. The style is not something I would draw and personally, nor would I normally gravitate to if it wasn't for someone else talking about it. I will probably continue reading this, though, for at least a few more volumes. I think I said that before, and I don't know if I would recommend this yet to someone. I think as far as I read, I'm like, so far it's good. So far I would say, yeah, check out the first volume and see for yourself, because it's not bad, but it's kind of good. I wouldn't call it, I wasn't blown away, but I liked it, and I think I will start to grow into the story more if I just keep reading it. So yeah, I think I will. And if I continue this, I might do some more videos on it as like another book club. I might try to convince people to read it with me and do that kind of stuff. If you guys like this video, I guess it's the end anyway. But if you guys like this video, please give it a like. If you want to see more of my content, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification button if you want to get updates of when I upload. I try to upload every Tuesday and sometimes Friday if I have like some extra content I want to put out there. But I need to put it out in a certain amount of time. I think I'm going to do more of these, more just talking videos with drawing happening in the background. I see a lot of YouTubers do that, and I think that's great. It's something I thought about doing before, but I think now I'm just like, it's a good time to do it. I need something that doesn't take a ton of energy to do, like some of the crafts or makeup videos. Honestly, makeup videos take a long time to edit. I don't like doing them. It takes less time to sit in the closet. It honestly takes less time to sit in the closet and talk to myself. I could talk to myself for 15 minutes. And it's great. But it's a lot easier than trying to be entertaining while doing a makeup video. But I will still probably do makeup videos because it's my addiction in life, as well as being a weeaboo piece of shit and reading manga and anime. If you have any suggestions for manga I should read, tell me down below, and tell me if you read this manga. Tell me if you want to read this manga. Tell me if you don't want to read this manga, did I turn you off of this manga? Because I think it's pretty good. I think either the next manga thing I do is either continuing this or maybe trying to do Tokyo Mew Mew, because I have a strange addiction to magical girl animes and mangas, because I have no shame. Maybe a little bit, but not enough to stop me. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the artwork, you can always follow me on Instagram. I try to post art and makeup and wigs and my dogs and cat on there all the time. So yeah. Peace out, Girl Scouts.